Welcome, everyone, to the Human Experience.
Welcome back to the Human Experience Podcast, everybody. Rated 5 stars on Spotify podcast from Lisa Kay. I absolutely love this podcast. The hosts are fantastic and always bring such interesting topics to the table. They have such an amazing way of relating leadership roles right back to the Bible. Overall, I highly recommend this podcast to anyone looking to improve themselves as a leader or simply gain a deeper understanding of the human experience. 5 stars all around. You're probably wondering to yourself, first of all, Andrew, why are you outside? Second of all, where's the special guest that you promised us to tune in for next week? Well, I'm glad you asked. First of all, we're outside because of the second reason. Second of all, my guest called out an hour before we started filming. So we get to be outside. Got this sick set, got a light, got several lights, but we're here. And today we're going to be talking about gut decisions, like the gut decision I had to make to set up this set. You're probably wondering, what does a gut decision have to do with being a leader? Once again, glad you asked. Gut decisions are very important when being a leader because they're that instinctual, spiritual decisions that you've got to make, whether it's a hard or a good decision. If it's a decision you don't want to make, those gut decisions are what's really important because sometimes logic and reasoning just doesn't make sense. So sometimes you've just got to go what's inside your soul. I remember a personal time when I was faced with having to make a gut decision. It didn't seem like the right answer at first. All of the logic and the reasons added up to be that I should go with the wrong one at the time. But I didn't know that, so I went with my gut, and it actually turned out to being the right decision. It's sometimes in the moment where you have to decide to make the gut decision and the logical decision that you can't see down the road that your gut is telling you the right decision. And sometimes it's a risk you've got to take trusting your gut. And sometimes, yes, you do have to look at the reasonable options and go with those sometimes. But they always say your gut is never wrong. I can promise you that is a risk and a gamble you've got to take if you're going to trust your gut. Sometimes it can be risky to trust your gut. It's a gamble that you have to take especially when high stakes are on the line with the decisions you've got to make. But in being a good leader, sometimes you can't be afraid to make those calculated risks or just trusting your intuition. Because not trusting your intuition shows that you're not confident in your own decisions. And what kind of leader isn't confident in their own decisions? We look in the book Shackleton's Way. We see that Shackleton is never once not sure on the decisions that he needs to make. Shackleton was always sure of every decision that he made, whether it was a risky choice or whether it was the smart choice. He was willing to make it because he was confident in his leadership skill. Sometimes those gut decisions can be the ones that leave the biggest impact, whether it's the ones that make your teams enthusiastic and pumped for what you've got for them, or it can be the one that absolutely tears down your team and makes them afraid if you're a good leader or not. And remember that gut decisions aren't something that always have to be made in isolation. Feel free to ask for advice on your gut because sometimes it's a lot of pressure on you to have to make the gut decisions by yourself. So don't be afraid to ask people in your crew, your team, your colleagues, your coworkers. Don't be afraid to ask them for the advice on what you're feeling on one choice against the other. Sometimes they can give you a second look that you didn't even see before, and sometimes that second look can be the biggest motivator to your gut decision. Another big thing is to be present in the moment. If you're present in the moment, then you're more relaxed inside your soul. Therefore, those gut decisions aren't as heavy on the pressure, therefore are easier to make in the long run. And if there's one thing that I want you listeners and watchers to know, that it's okay as a leader to make the wrong decisions sometimes. You don't have to always have the right answers at every corner. It's about having the courage to trust your gut, take the calculated risks, and learn from your experiences along the way. And once again, if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a like, a comment, or share it on your Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter or, I don't know, YouTube community. Does that even exist? I don't know. I'm just a guy making a podcast. But yeah, if you like, leave whatever rating you want. If you want, go leave it on Apple Podcasts. Who knows? Maybe your rating can be read in the next episode. Once again, I'm Andrew, and this has been the Human Experience Podcast. Thank you so much.